listening to the All Bases Covered radio show, Sports Talk, with Rich Mancuso. Call in, let's Sports Talk, 914-505-7701.
Sports with Rich, all bases covered from the Baseball Training Institute studio in the Bronx. Another edition. Welcome, everyone, and thanks for your continued support the past few weeks as we launched our show. And here you go, live in September. And to tell you right now, fans, that this is our last show for the summer. And we will break through the month of August and come back in mid-September. And we'll go live with you, where you'll be able to interact live phone calls and also on the forums, on your social media platforms of Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever social media platform you have. So this will be our last show, at least for the next 5 weeks. Then we go live with you, and we look forward to being back with you. In the meantime, another good 2 hours of sports talk and more here with us in the studio. In a moment, Brandon Colon, my co-host, with his great NFL NBA report as NFL training camps have started. And believe it or not, the NFL season kickoff is just weeks away. I can't believe it, how quick it's come. Big John is in the studio again, in the locker room, and I got a lot to say to John this week. And always reach us on the Sports with Rich All Bases Covered Facebook page. Like the page, and you can keep up to date with us and leave your questions and comments there, as well as get me if you want. I'm at Facebook, Rich Mancuso, Twitter, Ring786, Instagram, Mancuso786. Hell, I'm all over the place. But the Baseball Institute training facility is www.baseballtraininginstitute.com. That's our home, the studio here in the Bronx, where all bases covered, Sports with Rich. Well, more about what we're going to do when we come back from our summer hiatus, and tell you more about that at the end of the show. This is a good one tonight. We'll have Ray Negron in the studio, New York Yankees. He's known Yankees Miracles. He's the original bat boy. We have a long talk with him ahead, and you'll be able to hear that and a lot more. And begin now with baseball. Of course, we're nearing the July 31 trade deadline. And when you see this on tape delay, the deadline will probably be over. In the meantime, this is baseball's favorite time of year, especially with rumors and gossip and who's going there, who's going where, and more so where teams can get prospects to rebuild and teams will get reinforcements to maybe make a major splash in the stretch run as baseball becomes now in the second half. The July 31 non-waiver trade deadline, where it's easier to make a trade than it is after that deadline. So you got to 4 p.m. on Tuesday, July 31st. If not, players have to clear waivers. And you know, over the years, there's been major trades that have taken place after that deadline, including last year. Remember Justin Verlander, Houston Astros? Well, that came after the deadline, and look what happened to the Houston Astros. They got to the World Series, and Justin Verlander, he was a major part of that. So, what's happened so far during the deadline? Forget about the rumors and gossip and who's going. You know, there's one thing about the deadline I don't like, is all the rumors. And fans, I love you. You know that. But if you read my post on social media, I'm always saying, forget about it. Don't hear that. It's all rumor. It's all gossip. Most of the names you hear are not happening. And I got, like in the last few days, I heard about Harper coming to the Yankees because the Yankees are without Aaron Judge for 3 weeks, maybe more. And by the way, it could be more than 3 weeks, which will hurt the Yankees. So they will get another outfield to reinforce. Maybe not a great magnitude of a guy. You know, I'd like to see maybe Curtis Granderson. That would be a perfect fit. Yankee Stadium, Curtis Granderson again. But the rumors and the gossip about the trade deadline, to me, that's exactly what it is. It's a market. It's business, like I said about the All-Star game. Don't listen to a majority of the rumors because that's all it is. And it's a great thing for you fans, though, because it gets you to interact. I'm not faulting that. But don't believe what you hear because somebody hears it from someone else. Now, whether you say it's luck or not, a few years ago, and this was before the trade deadline, I am the one that scooped the world that Yoenis Cespedes was becoming a New York Met twice. I heard from my sources that that's what's going to happen, and as a result, Cespedes became a deadbeat New York Met as he is. All right? But this is the time of year that fans of baseball love. the July 31 non-waiver trade deadline, and already there's been some impact, especially in New York with the Mets, as Drupal Cabrera goes to the Phillies, and that's going to help the Phillies in their lineup. They lead the National League East, and they could take the National League East and battle it out with the Atlanta Braves, but I do not see the Washington Nationals fading away that quick, even though they're only a 500-ball team right now. Okay? So, Cabrera brings some offense to the Phillies, who have a great pitching staff, a young and good pitching staff. Are the Phillies finished? Probably not. And how about the double-A ball player the Mets got back? You know, if you're a Met fan, you got to be happy about getting a prospect like Franklin Kilmo, 23 years old. He's young, he's athletic. That's what the Mets have to do. The Mets have to rebuild. And they got the pitcher that can do that for them for the long run. He's 23 years old. He's a right-hander. At the deadline last year, they made various trades, got rid of Jay Bruce, got rid of Curtis Granderson. Well, of course, they got Jay Bruce back. And where is Jay Bruce? No one knows where he is. So they got prospects back last year, a lot of pitching prospects that are not making an impact, but maybe one or two. The kid Gershon Batista could be a solid guy out of the pen for that team in the future. He throws hard. He just has to get his command together. That's it. Dylan Betances type at the beginning. That's what he resembles to me. And then they got Drew Smith, who's another guy out of the bullpen that could be their eventual closer. Now that Jarice Familiar is with the surprising Oakland Athletics. And Familia just made their bullpen even stronger. J.A. Happ is a New York Yankee. We heard that name rumored for a long time. Now he's in New York. He's at Yankee Stadium. He's the pitching reinforcement the Yankees need. But my friends, I know Brian Cashman's not done. You might hear more before the deadline or at the deadline. The Yankees are going to need another bat. They definitely need some help in the outfield with the absence of Aaron Judge. Zach Britton. Yankees so far winners before the deadline. They reinforced and made their bullpen even stronger. Zach Britton's got that great sinker. Very good guy to come out of the pen. You know, one thing that's good with the Yankees right now, their strength was always the pen that leads baseball in ERA. But the fact now you got a sinker baller like Zach Britton coming out of their bullpen, he can induce that ground ball out double play. And the Yankees are strong in the bullpen. And their starters may only have to go 5-6 innings. Bullpen takes over, and as long as they're on the money and up to par. Look, it's not to say that the Yankee bullpen is going to falter. It will. Every bullpen does. It's a long season, especially down the stretch. But Brian Cashman right now and the Yankees winners before the trade deadline. Zach Britton in, J.A. Happ is in, and Nathan Eovaldi becomes a Boston Red Sox, the veteran comeback player of the year in the American League. 2 Tommy John surgeries. This guy's pitching like he's never pitched before in his life. Eovaldi gives you 7 good, strong innings, and the Red Sox got the pitcher they need to keep their lead in the American League East. As for the Yankees and the Red Sox going down to the wire for the division, well, it's starting to get a little... Red Sox are starting to take control. But the trade deadline does change complexions of teams, meaning that anything can happen down the stretch run with teams that are in contention and pick up 1 or 2 pitchers or 1 or 2 guys in the lineup that can make a difference. And we'll see that as we continue the second half and down the stretch of this baseball season 2018. So the deadline, I'm not even going to go into names and rumors. You probably know more about it than me because you're monitoring the internet 24/7 as a baseball fan with your team to see who's going where, and this guy's coming here, and Harper's not going to become a New York Yankee. I know that. I know that for sure. All right? Who the Yankees will get to reinforce in the lineup with the absence of Judge is just going to be a rental temporary player. And, of course, the Dodgers made that big splash earlier, getting Manny Machado, as we talked about last week. So a lot coming up with the deadline in baseball and the stretch run. Take a look at the power rankings right now. I like Boston as number 1. Then I give the Astros the second nod, the Yankees third, and fourth, the Oakland A's. They are making a run. They are nearing in on the division, believe it or not. They are the surprise team in baseball, and they're not far from a wild card spot. 2 games out, with the Seattle Mariners battling them there. And the Oakland A's are a surprising team. I'm talking to some baseball executives and some scouts at the ballpark the last few days, and they say they are surprised at what the Oakland A's have pulled off. And they're going to keep this going, and they could be one of those postseason teams playing for the whole thing in October. We'll see. So, power rankings, Boston Astros, Yankees, A's, and maybe you could throw in the Phillies after that, because the Phillies are becoming another surprising team and another example of how becoming more young and athletic will give you a winning baseball team. That's what the Mets have to do. They've begun that process, and they'll probably be making some more moves to get rid of veterans and walk-off contracts before the deadline. Okay? Your thoughts about this, always on the social platforms, and I'm going to read some of your questions, give you some of the answers in a little while on the program. All right, from baseball we go. And by the way, that Aaron Judge injury, that wasn't a purposeful pitch. So forget about that. I've heard that. I don't want to hear that. It happens. And Judge is a big guy. He's going to get hit. They pitch him inside. That's what happens. Aaron Judge holds no animosity about that. I talked to him about it. A lot of us did. Aaron Judge will be back. Will he still have an impact with this team? We'll have to see how that right wrist heals in the next 3 weeks. But it could be more than 3 weeks for Aaron Judge out of the lineup. And Gary Sanchez, who's had a disappointing season, he's on a DL until the end of August at least. That's a big part of the Yankee lineup that hasn't produced. It's showing. The Yankees are not hitting those magnificent home runs like they did in the first half. Towards the end of the first half, it slowed down, and it continues to slow down here at the beginning of the second half of the season. All right, let's move on, and let's look at a sport again that I love so much, and I've become so fond of soccer. MLS, NYCFC. They're going to get a new stadium, close to signing an agreement, which will be miles from Yankee Stadium, and of course their goalie Sean Johnson, a major, integral part of NYCFC. The Red Bulls in Atlanta also fighting for that division in the East. Boxing, of course. I got to talk boxing, right? How about Sean Porter and Danny Garcia for the welterweight title? September 8th, Showtime, Barclays Center, Brooklyn. This is a good fight. This is a fight boxing fans want to see. And it's on the boxing calendar season, September 8th. Now you look at Danny Garcia, who's been a champion. You look at Sean Porter, who's been a champion. Styles make fights. These two will have a fight September 8th for the welterweight title, Barclays Center, as the boxing season resumes in September. We do have some fights over the summer, as you see, not of a magnitude of like this one of Garcia and Porter. And the winner of that fight maybe gets Earl Spence, who might be the top fighter in the world, especially out of that division at 147. But then you got Terrence Crawford waiting. Who does he get next? As I told you last week, Terrence Crawford probably will not fight Manny Pacquiao because of the same promoters, Top Rank. But when you look at a fight of Porter and Danny Garcia in September 8th, Brooklyn, New York, Barclays Center, my friends, if you're a boxing fan, you're going to want to see that fight. You will enjoy it. That's a major fight coming up in September. And then a week later, you have the rematch, of course, Canelo Alvarez, Gennady Golovkin, Triple G, for the middleweight championship. I'm hearing that Canelo's in great shape. I'm also hearing that Triple G is in just as good a shape. And that could be for the rematch for the middleweight title. That could be another great fight early in the boxing season, as I say, in September. All right, let's move on and let's talk about the Hall of Fame. We'll go back to baseball real quick. And congratulations, Vladimir Guerrero, Trevor Hoffman, Chipper Jones, Jack Morris, Jim Thome, and Alan Trammell, the newest inductees into baseball's Hall of Fame up in Cooperstown, New York, just a couple of days ago. 323 elected members to the Hall of Fame. I love that group that was elected this year, including Vladimir Guerrero, the former Montreal Expo. And Guerrero is a guy that I remember, he's a tough out all the time. Trevor Hoffman was a guy that you couldn't get a hit off him. A saves leader with the San Diego Padres. Jack Norris, a great starting pitcher. Chipper Jones, oh my, what he used to do to the Mets at Shea Stadium. Jim Thome, the former Cleveland Indian, home run hitter, great defensive player. Alan Trammell, just as well with the Cleveland Indians. You know, the Hall of Fame this year had an elite group going in, including Guerrero, who has a son in the Toronto Blue Jays organization, is just as good as his dad. Look out for him next year. You might even see him in September. Brandon's coming up in a moment with the NFL and the NBA report. And in the locker room, once again, Big John. Hey, John.
Hi, Rich.
You had a good week?
Yeah.
All right, I'll tell you the week he had. He's stuck on a roulette wheel at the Empire Casino up in Yonkers, New York. Right, John? Tell the world.
Yeah, you know, a little bit. A little fun and leisure, but...
Yeah, and the joke is driving you crazy. You waiting for Batman?
I don't know. I mean, they may have to call Commissioner Gordon, and I still don't think Batman would come to get the job.
But you're stuck on that roulette wheel, aren't you?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I wanted to touch base on
Okay.
the Yankee situation.
Sure.
How do you feel about J. Happ being possibly the number 2 starter or number 3 behind Tanaka? Obviously, Severino's 1. I think it really helps.
Well, Yankees reinforced themselves in the rotation. And what I failed to mention moments ago, the addition of Happ does help, especially facing the Red Sox, because he beats the Red Sox. So Brian Cashman and the Yankees did the right thing. They got the pitcher they needed to overtake the Red Sox. But the Yankees are moving further away from the Red Sox in the division. J. Happ or wherever you got, right now the Red Sox are unbeatable.
Unfortunately, Yankees, they have to try to keep winning. It's been a little tough.
Is that the guy you wanted as a Yankee fan, J. Happ?
I did, because I...
J.A. Happ? No, it's J.A. Happ.
J.A. Happ, I'm sorry. I knew he would not, Cole Hamels would not come to the Yankees. He really didn't want to. And then obviously he ended up in Chicago, and now they have a great staff, and they'll make a run for division or wild card. We'll see.
All right, John, question. We're talking about the Hall of Fame real quick, and I'll throw this to Brandon later as well. And you out there are welcome to comment. Don't forget, go on the Facebook page, go on the Sports with Rich, all bases covered, or get me at Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, whatever. John, this is a question. Before we even get to the fact of the week, before I bring Brandon in, Pete Rose, I always felt, and still do, should be in the Hall of Fame. In fact, he should be involved in baseball in some capacity. And if you don't want him back in baseball reinstated, at least he should be in the Hall of Fame and become member 324 in the Hall of Fame up in Cooperstown. Because forget about what he did off the field. Forget about the gambling stuff. You can't take away what the guy did on the field. He belongs in the Hall of Fame. You feel that way, Big John?
Yes, I feel he should be in the Hall of Fame. He deserves... You know what? It's like a jail sentence, 20, 30 years. I was on a TV show on ESPN, and I was in the audience about 8, 9 years ago. And it was very controversial, and he got up and he said, "Fans, I think I deserve. What do you think? I think I deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. Look what I did. I was Pete Rose. I was Charlie Hustle. I did it. I think I served my 30-year sentence."
Oh, he should be in the Hall of Fame. Unfortunately, I don't think it's ever going to happen. Veterans Committee status is out for him, and I just don't think they're holding this grudge against a man that's the all-time hits leader in baseball. It was Charlie Hustle. Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame. I've written about it. I've said it. I've been vocal about it. But, doesn't matter what I say, does it?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right, John. John, any planet hunting lately in the sky?
No, maybe a little thunderstorm hunting, lightning and thunder.
But you're stuck at the roulette wheel, that's why.
Oh, I want to get away from it.
Yeah, and all right, and in a little while, this week, you're going to be putting those cleats on, and you're going out to the cages today, and you're going to do the art of bunting that we were going to do last week, but you're going to do it this week, right?
Wow, I hope I do good. Yeah,
but there's one thing you must do for me, John.
Yes.
The Yankee hat must come off.
I'll take it off now, but I'll put it back on.
Oh, yeah, okay, I'm sure you will. All right, Big John, in a little while, back with us. And now I'm bringing in, before I give you the fact of the week and we throw it to our first break, here's Brandon Colon, my buddy. Brandon, welcome back.
Rich, how's it going? It's always great to be here with you.
It's always great to see you, but you know what, Brandon? Again,
Was
The Yankee hat. Now you got a different one on now.
exactly. So it's not again. It's new because it's a whole completely different one. And then I don't.
How
see
many Yankee hats you have in your collection?
About well, so you got to get rid of a few when they get all dirty and everything. So I say right now about 5 in the rotation.
Oh, so you upgrade.
Yeah, you have to.
You upgrade. Why do you
Just
have
as the
to?
Yankees upgrade.
I don't upgrade my Met cap, so I got the
Well, I mean,
rally
you
cap
kinda
again.
need to. I mean,
See?
just
Yeah, my
like the
rally
Mets- the Mets
cap.
need to upgrade. You need to upgrade on.
I don't. I can say that,
I'm
not
sorry,
you.
I keep forgetting. You
All
can say
right.
these things. I
You don't say that. All right. By the way, the Undertaker is. I don't know. We've lost him.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So you're
He'll be here
safe.
for SummerSlam.
You're safe. But a Yangier behind the camera is gonna. If we don't have him now, we'll have him when we come back in September.
Oh, of
all right.
course. He's always-
Speaking of September, Brandon, NFL training camps are underway. It's
right.
hard to believe. How many days to kick off?
So when they see this, maybe is it right now? As of right now today?
Well-
40 days. But when they see this, under 40 days. So
Yeah.
we're almost there.
And
And not only that,
yeah.
the first preseason game, August 2nd. So this Thursday coming up.
That's the NFL Hall of Fame
Hall
game.
of Fame game, yes.
And again, I don't agree with 4 preseason games.
Me and
Guys
you,
get hurt.
Yes.
Changes the complexion of a team, just like in baseball when they add a player.
Yep.
But the NFL season is, and you fantasy experts, you heard Scott Engel a few weeks ago, rotoexperts.com,
Very helpful.
and getting your play. Big John, you joined that, didn't you? Huh?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, I know you
So
did.
I'm excited. I'm going to use all my.
Mr. Fantasy over there. All right, Brandon, it's all yours. You're going to give us a brief NFL update with training camps here. And I know the NBA slowed down a bit, but before you know, we get into fall sports and it's NBA time.
Almost
So,
there.
yeah, big guy, it's all yours. Call him big guy. Look at me compared to him. Yeah, Brandon.
So your NFL report brought to you by Astra Mini Market in Delhi. Make sure you go visit those.
Thank you. I
Sunday
forgot to
evening.
mention our great sponsors.
Of course, you need
Good.
to, always.
So you can do that. Go ahead.
Just as we want you guys. Oh, also Razor Sharp. Don't forget to go visit Rob the Barber. You're not sharp until you're razor sharp. And so as we said, the NFL. There's a lot of a big thing about the NFL this whole week is a lot of these guys want their money. They want to get paid. And so we got a lot of holdouts as far as training camp. As Rich said, training camps did start this week. And so we did have a lot of holdouts. We got Le'Veon Bell of the Pittsburgh Steelers, who's trying to become the highest paid running back ever. It's one common thread in this whole list that I'll go through here. All these guys on this list want to be the highest paid at their position. It's just as much as I want to be the highest paid guy talking sports, these guys want to be the highest paid people playing their position. So we're going to start with Le'Veon Bell, who was offered $14 million. He felt that wasn't enough, so he's holding out. The Pittsburgh Steelers will probably put him on another franchise tag, so that'll be something he'll have to deal with. Khalil Mack of the Oakland Raiders and Aaron Donald of the Los Angeles Rams. They're both played D tackle, defensive linemen. They're both looking to become the highest paid defensive linemen. Both are holding out of camp right now. They're probably waiting for the other to sign. So once Aaron Donald signs, Khalil Mack will try and get more money than him. Once Khalil Mack signs, Aaron Donald will try to do the same and try and get more money than him and become the highest paid defensive lineman. Then you got Earl Thomas of the Seattle Seahawks. He's holding out. He feels like he needs a contract extension. Obviously, he was a part of that Legion of Boom they were called out there in Seattle with Richard Sherman, Cam Chancellor, and Byron Maxwell. There we go. Sorry. And so he's trying to become the highest paid safety. He feels like he deserves an extension. He's played very well. And now with the loss of Cam Chancellor and Richard Sherman, he's going to be the only guy from the Legion of Boom left. And he feels like he needs to be highest paid or he wants to be traded. And his trade preference is actually the Dallas Cowboys, who we'll speak about a little bit later on. So he's one of the players holding out. Sam Darnold of the New York Jets. His contract is obviously it's not fully guaranteed, but they have a set rate for where the rookies are drafted, and that's the compensation he'll get. So it's going to be 4 years and $31 million. He just doesn't know if right now him and the Jets are discussing the certain terms of their agreement and certain aspects of his contract. So he is holding out for right now, but it shouldn't be long. He wouldn't be in camp, and it'll probably be best for him as he tries to earn that job, starting job with the New York Jets. Odell Beckham Jr. is back in camp when camp started this week, and it was a lot of speculation that he may not show up. He may hold out, as he was also looking for a contract extension. But as we all know, it was some news earlier in the off season of some off the field issue he had, but he has stayed trouble free until training camp this week, and so he's trying to show that he's there for the team, and he's very team centered and team minded right now. And so the Giants and Odell Beckham Jr. and his camp will be discussing some stuff and hopefully get a contract extension soon. Will he become one of the highest wide receivers ever? We'll see. Another wide receiver looking to become the highest paid will be Julio Jones, who reached an agreement with the Atlanta Falcons to restructure his contract. He was also threatening to hold out, but he decided to show up to camp. as they decided to restructure his contract for this year, and then hopefully in the future they'll discuss, maybe he'll be the highest paid the highest paid wide receiver. You never know. Next up, we got Aaron Rodgers. The Green Bay Packers, he's still got about 2 years and about, I think, $30 million left. He wants to be the highest paid. As I said, everybody on this list here wants to be the highest paid. Aaron Rodgers is no other. He deserves to be the highest paid quarterback, one of the best in the league, maybe the best behind Tom Brady, and he's one of the best in this league. And so he's trying to be the highest paid quarterback, and we'll see what happens. Hopefully him and the Green Bay Packers can reach something very soon. And as I said, the Dallas Cowboys will be later on. It will come up in this news, and it happens to be about their former wide receiver, Des Bryant. He's in the news for 2 reasons. The first, he's in talks with the Cleveland Browns about a potential 1-year deal. He's trying to join that revamped Cleveland Browns squad. I don't see them going 0-16 this year. I do think they'll win some games. So he's in talks with them on a potential 1-year deal to join Jarvis Landry and Josh Gordon. But he's also in the news because his former vice president of Stephen Jones of the Dallas Cowboys was on a radio show, Sirius XM NFL, and he made some comments talking about Dak Prescott and his progression. So his initial comment was saying that the one that got tweeted out and was towards Dez, said that maybe Dak will have a better year now since Des Bryant is no longer a part of the team, and he won't be in his ear as much as he was this past season. And so when Des heard this, they added him on Twitter, and he got a little offended. He threw some of his former teammates under the bus, his former coaches and his former staff members, feeling that they threw him under the bus and took some shots at him, and now he feels some type of way. So he went back and forth on Twitter, and now he feels some type of way. But if you listen to the original comment, here's what Stephen Jones actually said. He's got to trust the system when talking about Dak Prescott, which at times last year there was pressure. With Dez in his ear and to some degree Jason Witten in his ear, those great players want the ball. That end of the comment where it mentions Jason Witten and those great players want the ball, that was left out in the comment to Dez, and so he went back and forth on Twitter with a bunch of guys thinking that Stephen Jones was bashing him, and though it wasn't as bad as they made it seem. And so Dez was in the news yesterday, and it was obviously that was why. We can't finish the NFL report without mentioning Rich's, even though they're not his team, Arizona Cardinals. It's been said that Sam Bradford is the leading guy for QB. It's his job to lose, and hopefully he can stay healthy and won't be injured. And Josh Rosen will be his backup quarterback behind him. We move on to the NBA. As Rich mentioned, there's not much NBA talk this week. It's been quiet, with most of the players out in Vegas for the Team USA minicamp as they get prepared for the Olympics later on in about 2 or 3 years. 2 years, I believe, we have left before the next Olympics. The coach of Team USA is San Antonio Spurs head coach Greg Popovich, who actually got the chance because of this minicamp to work with his newly acquired star, DeMar DeRozan, who was traded, obviously a part of the Kawhi trade from the Toronto Raptors to the San Antonio Spurs. So Pop is getting a chance to work with his new star DeMar and teach him some things and obviously look to the future of the San Antonio Spurs, while his former star Kawhi Leonard decided to sit out and not take part in the Team USA minicamp. We move on to other news. The Houston Rockets agreed to a contract extension with Clint Capella on a 5-year, $90 million deal. Obviously, they needed Clint. He was a big reason as far as their defensive and playing very well in the defensive end and helping them get to the Western Conference Finals. And with losing Trezor Ariza, he's going to be a very big, important piece for them to stay intense and strong on defense. We go on to Carmelo Anthony, who is still technically an Atlanta Hawk, but at some point during this offseason, he will be bought out by the Hawks, and then he will decide to join the Houston Rockets, which will definitely help them offensively, but not as much defensively. And also, Melo has mentioned again that he's not looking to come off the bench for anybody, no matter who he plays with. He will be a starter, and he thinks he still can contribute in this league. And there goes your NFL and NBA reports, Rich.
And we're sponsored by
Extra Mini Market in Delhi and Razor Sharp, Rob the Barber. Make sure you guys go visit him.
2 great sponsors of Sports with Rich, all bases covered here from the Baseball Training Institute studio in the Bronx. Thank you for your support. It's been great. We hope you can continue with us. And when we resume live programming here in mid-September, that'd be the launch day, we'll let you know. Brandon, great report as always. But what did you say about the Arizona Cardinals again? I'm concerned.
Why are you concerned, Rich? It was just a little,
It's a team that I root for, but I don't say me, you, I, we, whatever.
I didn't call them your team. I made sure not to do that.
Exactly.
The team
right.
you root for.
Not like what you do.
My Yankees, yes.
Yeah, your Yankees, your whatever.
So what I said about the Cardinals was just that Sam Bradford obviously dealt with so many injuries throughout his career, And so they're saying, right, as of right now, he is the starting quarterback, and it's his job to lose. He has a chance if he gets hurt, God forbid.
But a lot will be determined in the next 4 weeks. Who makes these teams? Who gets cut? Who comes on as the NFL kickoff is closing in quick?
Yes, training.
Right?
Yes, kickoff.
All right, Brandon, let's take a few questions from some of our viewers out there. I got a couple of interesting ones. John, listen carefully before we go to break, and I give you the fact of the week. I got Nancy from the Bronx. And she wants to know, why don't we talk NHL, hockey? We haven't done that yet.
No,
True.
we have not.
We will. Right now, it's not hockey at all. There's nothing to talk about. There's nothing going on. We all know what the Islanders and Rangers did in New York. We know that the Washington Capitals won the Stanley Cup. Their coach went now and became a head coach of the Islanders. But Nancy and all of you hockey buffs out there, when we come back in September, there will be more NHL because there'll be camps going on, getting ready for a new NHL season, and the fall is my favorite time of year.
And as you said that, our producer back there, Yang, got very excited.
Yeah, I know.
We can bring him on and talk some hockey.
Right.
He was very excited when
and U.S. Open tennis we're going to miss. So we're not going to, Nancy, we'll get to that. So, and if we offended you in any way by not talking hockey yet, it's just an oversight. Yes. We will get to that, and I will have hockey experts on the program, including the owner of the Las Vegas Knights, Golden Knights, affiliated with the Baseball Training Institute, by the way. So we should have him on and talk about that successful first initial year, Brandon. Here's a question I want, Brandon, I want you to hear this one. Okay. Some of you want to know why I get on you all the time. I'm not going to mention the viewer about wearing that Yankee cap all the time.
I don't understand it either. That is actually a great question because I don't see any problem with me or Big John wearing a Yankee hat. I don't understand.
And this viewer, Derek from Orlando, Florida. We have viewers all over the place.
I was just out in Florida, actually.
Yeah, I know.
Much love.
Yeah, but you got to go see Derek in Orlando. All right?
I do.
I heard he owns a nice restaurant. So
like
we have to go there. Derek said also he admires that you wear a Yankee cap all the time.
Yes, I have to.
And he loves your reports. He loves your NBA and your NFL report on the program.
Derek, I'm going to come visit you, Derek.
Right, he said that. He wants you to come. But he also said that I should just not get on your case as much about that.
Listen, it started off as just, a one-time thing, and then as soon as I saw that you got a little bit more agitated about it, seeing Big John wear it as well, I had to continue wearing the Yankee hat. And now I'm going to do it even more for Derek, because Derek loves it so much.
Okay, well, maybe you won't have a job no more either.
Oh,
how about that?
Wow.
I'll bring a Met fan in here.
Maybe Derek will have me.
I'm only kidding. I love Brandon. I want to bring him in here. It's all fun. And it's to you, Big John, in the locker room. Derek said this. Why do I always chastise you? Why do I get on your case? Derek wants to know, do I do that to you, Big John?
No, not really. But I guess because I'm wearing my Yankee cap and my
and he loves the different outfits you bring on the show every week. So keep it up.
Football season stuff.
Yeah. Oh
boy.
Yeah.
I'm not with you on that one, John.
Right.
I'm sorry.
All right. So we thank you for some of your insights, some of your opinions on the program. Continue to bring them on Facebook, Instagram, all our social media. And by the way, you could read me, BronxChronicle.com, NewYorkSportsDay.com, which is a top sports website. Brandon involved with that as well. And also Latino Sports and a lot of other places where you catch Rich Mancuso on the internet. Fact of the week time before we go to break. And you want to hear this, guys? Sponsored by Ace Mini Market in the Bronx. All your needs and shop at the same time and get a great sandwich, great catering. You didn't get it this week. He will after the show, though.
Of course.
I missed the Italian sub this week. Just put them pounds on again. Here you go, guys. Try the fact of the week and get this one. This is a little weird one, too. But listen to this. One of the core four of those Yankee championship years, remember? Of course, you remember Jorge Posada, all right? He admitted that he did something during the season, every season he played, especially during those championship years in the 90s. He did something during those seasons to tighten his grip with the bat. What did he do? It's something that Moises Alou and Kerry Wood used to do, among a couple of major leaguers that did that in the past. Jorge Posada did something very unusual during a few seasons when he got to bat, put the bat in his hand. Before he did something very unusual. It's kind of weird. I don't know if you'll get this, but we'll hold it. Think about it. It's weird. That's the key word, weird.
Can we wait till after the break to answer?
Yes, we will.
Answers?
I don't want to spoil your appetite.
Right, thank you.
More to come. Sports with Rich. All bases covered from the Baseball Training Institute studio in the Bronx. Brandon Colon, Big John in the locker room, and he'll do some bunting in a little while in the cages. Rich Mancuso, Yang behind the camera. Back after this. Stay with us.
You're listening to the All Bases Covered radio show, Sports Talk, with Rich Mancuso. Call in. Let's Sports Talk. 914-505-7701.
Hey, you need a good haircut? I always do. Can't you tell, fans? Look at this. Nah, maybe I just need a little shape up. Well, I go to my favorite place, Razor Sharp in the Bronx, and it is Razor Sharp. Let's go talk to Rob. Let's take a look at the sports environment in there. You're going to like what you see. All right, Rob, besides me having the top internet talk show right now, and as a good top columnist in the city of New York, as you know, because you're a good supporter of mine, what makes this top barbershops in the Bronx, if not New York?
It's just sports, a lot of talking, just a place to hang out. It's it's like a man cave, you know what I mean?
What makes it Razor Sharp, like the name?
Just the top, it ain't sharp until you razor sharp, that's it.
If Aaron Judge walked in here right now,
So I give him what he wants.
easier than cutting me or harder? You're hungry, morning, day or night, this is the place to go. Ashra Mini Market in the Pelham Bay section of the Bronx. Now, fresh delicacies, and they'll fix it the way you want it. Plus, there's a market in there too. You can do your shopping at the same time. The best thing is convenient, right off the number 6 line here in the Bronx Middletown Station. I've been there. I've been there more than once. And look, it does help Rich Mancuso put on a few pounds. Ashra Mini Market. Come in and see what it's about. How many years you been doing this, Rick?
I've been doing this now 20 years.
You have daily special?
My daily specials are usually like the Philly cheesesteaks, which we do with London broil.
I've had that.
Yeah, we don't do them with steak, and we do them with London broil. Our turkey Phillies, also done with boar's head oven gold turkey.
Ashra Mini Market Deli, and where the fresh delicacies come out, where fresh cooking is done every day, morning, afternoon, and evening. They're open, and you get a good meal at a great price.
You're listening to the All Bases Covered radio show, Sports Talk, with Rich Mancuso. Call in. Let's Sports Talk. 914-505-7701.
Back with Sports with Rich, all bases covered from the Baseball Training Institute in the Bronx. I'm Rich Mancuso. Welcome back. Of course, John in the locker room still, and Yang behind the camera. Brandon Colon back in a minute. My pleasure right now to welcome in a special guest to the show this week, Ray Negron. He's been with the New York Yankees a lifetime, and very well known here at the Baseball Training Institute because he's assisted in the community for years in the Bronx, including here. And Hank's Yanks is a program that he oversees with Hank Steinbrenner, one of the owners of the New York Yankees. And Ray Negron and I have been friends for a long, long time. And Ray, welcome to All Bases Covered, Sports with Rich. I didn't think I'd ever get you here, but you're here.
Well, I was promised some Dunkin' Donuts coffee and donuts and
Well,
stuff.
they're not a sponsor, I'm sorry.
Well, I should have had some kind of donuts here or something. I'm hungry, Rich.
And
Let's
you're
go.
always after my weight, so why would I
Yeah.
want to bring donuts? We'll go for dinner later, okay? Nice
Unbelievable.
glass of wine, and you
I
like
guess
all that.
That's the pain.
Ray, more importantly, you're busy. You're always busy this time of year, all year round with the Yankees. You've been there for years. And let's jump right into it. Right now, you're in the midst of the summer season with Hank's Yanks. And the kids here at the Baseball Training Institute are in Tampa, Florida, in a tournament. But Hank's Yanks is a program now, how many years?
Almost 10 years, Rich.
10 years, which has enabled thousands of youngsters to play organized baseball in the New York City tri-state area and beyond. And it's because of Hank Steinbrenner and you and your efforts to get these kids to play baseball when they may have not been playing all summer. And that's got to feel great.
Rich, it doesn't feel great because we're not doing enough. There's still a lot of crime in the streets. If we don't get these kids to be playing baseball, they're going to be getting into a lot of mischief. I was at a funeral last week. One of the kids in a gun scenario gone bad, died, and his mother said to me at the funeral parlor, if I would have had the money to have paid for him to be able to be in a program, he would be alive today. It's a sorry statement.
Yeah.
It's shame on us, okay? Shame on us, because we, it's like in the movie A Bronx Tale. Nobody cares. Unless it's your situation, unless it's your kid, nobody cares, and that's got to stop, because you know what? It starts with your kid, but it ends up with that kid, and it ends up with that kid and this kid playing around with a gun and shooting each other. It ends up with the scenario, you can't play baseball, so you join a gang because that's free. It's a free uniform, right? Stupid. I'm tired.
Yeah.
I'm fed up. Okay, and there's more that has to be done, and parents have to wake up. Okay, and why did I come here to get pissed off?
Well, it's not a matter of getting pissed off. You're venting, and I think, we're involved in sports every day of our lives, okay? I report it, I write about it. At the same time, I got colleagues on the other side of the fence that write about too much of what you're talking about. It's just a part of society, but I always said this. Sports brings a community together, and it enables youngsters to adopt almost a coach or a boxing trainer as a second father. They don't have one at home. So that's why I'm an advocate of sports, especially youth sports. And there's one thing you're just talking about, Ray, and it's one thing that you are well known for all these years. And how many years is it that you're involved with the Yankees in their community
45.
efforts? 45. There you go. The fact is that you make a difference. And there should be more, but you do make a difference.
No, Rich, it's not the aspect of me making a difference. Because if it wasn't for the Yankees, what could I do? Who would listen to me? Who would care? Who am I?
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So it took a white man 45 years ago to give me an opportunity
Talking about
at
George
life.
Steinbrenner, the late George Steinbrenner.
Right.
And we know about the story, and if you want to know more, we'll talk about the book that's been out over a year, Yankee Miracles, where you give a complete synopsis and the exploits of you and how George Steinbrenner brought you in, basically, and changed your life around, turned your whole life around.
Well, the whole thing is, that's why, I'm annoyed with Donald Trump. Why am I annoyed with Donald Trump? I'm a fan of Donald Trump's. I'll be honest with you. At the same time, you're talking about a guy that idolized George Steinbrenner, and everything that George did, no matter how big he got, no matter how great the Yankees did on the playing field, he still had the time to have his people do what they had to do in this community. Okay, he was never afraid to get in his car and drive around the community. I was just with you walking out of a store when a guy came up to us and said, "Oh, I remember you and George Steinbrenner going to so-and-so place."
Right.
That was 40 some odd years ago. Okay, that's what he did. When they were world champions, he still took the time to go into the neighborhoods, to see the people, to understand the people, to understand what we need, to understand what do we need to do to make things better. And you know what? And he just didn't go at him that way. He says, "Hey, how can we make the Yankees better for you?" You understand what I'm saying? He used the psychology game.
Right.
Okay? I remember one time after talking to a family, he was giving the father a $50 bill, and the father, who was a very proudful man of pride, said, "No, excuse me, I don't need your money." And he says, "I'm not giving you my money. You earned it. You were an advisor to me just now. You advised me on what's going wrong with my team, and I'm going to use your advice to make it better. Here, this is for you, a fee for what you did for me." Okay?
That's some story.
All right? Well, that was some man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And in essence, as the years progress, hey, the dollar goes up. They say the dollar doubles every 10 years, right? Then why can't man get better every 10 years?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a philosophical point of view. It can be discussed, but right now, I understand what you're saying, Ray, and everything, but let's talk.
I'm angry, you know.
I know you are,
you know,
and I've seen you when you get this way, and it's because you want to get that message out.
It's just
well,
that,
get
you
it
know,
out. You have a chance right now.
Richard, shut up, okay, and understand that yesterday.
No one tells Rich Mancuso to
Okay.
shut up, but I'll let you do it on my show.
Thank you, Richard.
Yeah.
But you know what? Is that yesterday we had Junior's family at Yankee Stadium.
Now tell
Okay. Junior Feliz.
The young man that got massacred in a grocery store in the Bronx.
and you know, I talked to the mother and I said, "How are you?" And you know what she said to me? "How can I be?"
Right, strong woman.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
How can I be? You know, you know, this society. You know, and if there's anything I can do, you know what I'm saying? They give you this classic line, and you know, it's just that you know you want to do something, but you know, it's just what can we do? You know, except try to build from that. Try to use Junior's situation as a lesson.
And you coming in with the Yankees as a role, but more so you as the person, right? I have seen you give to the community. And I've known a lot of people in my lifetime, a lot of them you know that I know, but I have seen you go that extra step. And without Ray Negron, a lot of people, I would say, would be lost in the community. Well, it's your effort.
Rich, I don't believe that for a second, number one. And number two, I come from this neighborhood. So how could I not want to help my neighborhood? How could I not want to help? I still have family here.
Right.
You know,
and you got 3 sons.
You know,
2 of them are police officers. One of them I know is an amateur fighter, might turn pro. But 2 are police officers as well, and I'm sure you worry about their well-being every day, right?
Every day.
And I'm sure all of this comes from what George Steinbrenner gave to you, because I know you eat, sleep, and think about this man all the time. And a lot of what he instilled in you is what you're doing now. People didn't know George Steinbrenner. They really didn't know this man. They just thought he was this part of the evil empire of the Yankees, but that he had this heart of gold.
Some of his friends didn't know who he was, per se. You understand what I'm saying? Because knowing a person is the aspect of those moments where they can just totally be themselves. And what is in here? Will you let that out? Hey, I've known you for like 35 years, 30 years, something like that.
I know, but there were times we really didn't know each other.
Here we go. No, we did know each other.
Tell the story about me and Ray.
You know, we don't want to get into that, but
no.
But you know, I didn't know Rich. I didn't know Richie's heart. You know, just like he really didn't know me. Like in the 80s, he didn't know me. You know, and so in essence, I used to like to mess with him and mess with him. Until one day he said, "Okay, mother," and you know, and we just had to like chill out. I said, "Let me back off a little bit because he might swing," you know. And I just left it at that, and I left him alone for a couple of years, and then finally we got back together.
And we're like the best of friends. There's no doubt. I mean, he's like a brother. He's family. That's basically what it is.
And we scream at each other all the time.
All the time.
You know.
But this man just doesn't know when to stop giving back, and that's what it's about. And whether it's the Yankee mentality in his head or the person, I think it's a little of both, but it's more about the person. And speaking of that, Ray, when people read your book, Yankee Miracles, they find out who you are, and they find out about your relationships with Reggie Jackson, Thurman Munson. Those were 2 of your favorite Yankees, Reggie and Thurman.
They were the greatest. They were my brothers. Reggie's still my brother, and I miss Thurman so much. Never got over that his death. I mean, when he died, I started to hyperventilate. I couldn't breathe. I was taken to the emergency room, and they had to bring in like the psychiatrist to come in and talk to me into breathing again. You know, and then he told me that if I would start writing my thoughts, that it would help me. And that's how I started writing, believe it or not. I ended up writing a story called 5 Days in August, which it was about those 5 days when Thurman died and how we as a team tried to battle the anxiety, the tension, the depression, of losing our best friend, and maybe someday you go into the internet and read it, but that's what got me going. It was Thurman that got me going into this thing, and he was one of the best men I have ever known in my life.
And those were the guys when you were the bat boy, and Thurman used to send you out to nearby McDonald's up the block.
Right across the street from
And
the
you'd
stadium.
run out and get cheeseburgers for him.
Yeah, I would walk into the stadium. I would walk into the locker room, and the minute that he saw me, he would look over and go, "Right, 2 cheesies." That's how he talked with a high. He had a high voice, and I would just turn around and haul ass across center field, over the fence, and through the, what do you call it?
The old Yankee Stadium. Yeah.
And the McDonald's was literally right across the street. And the minute I went in, the guy knew what I wanted, put it in the bag, get the ketchup, blah, 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 like that. Sometimes he charged, sometimes he didn't because he knew it was Thurman. And
Bobby Mercer as well was one of your favorites.
Bobby Mercer, I called Bobby Mercer Amazing Grace. He was beautiful, he was wonderful, he was a big brother, and when Mickey Mantle retired, he was our team superstar, and he lived it, man. He was great. When we were bad, he was good.
Yeah. Now, you have told me, and you could tell everyone right now, that it tore your heart, tore you apart when they tore down the old stadium. Built the new one across the street. That's what they wanted. They got that $1 billion building. It's beautiful. I just don't feel they should have as well tore down the old place.
Well,
and that you still go across the street now, which is Legends Field, and you could actually see and hear. And of course, Lou Gehrig is one of yours. And
well,
you go to second base where Lou Gehrig was, right there at Legends Field, which is Legends Field now.
I'm Latin, you know what I'm saying? I'm Latin, and I believe in the spirits. I believe that the spirits were there when they were trying to tell us that they're going to cross the street, etc. Yeah, right. They weren't going to cross the street. They're still right there.
The memories are there.
Yeah, it's all right there.
The new building's not like the old.
Look, it's nice for today. For the people who don't remember those days, it's fine. It's commercially correct. For today, it's commercially
But there was
correct.
only one
No,
Yankee
Stadium is Yankee Stadium, man. Look, come on, man. Roots,
Yes, I remember as a kid, that was my first ball game.
Bobby,
everyone knows I'm a Met fan in the Bronx, but
even for the Jewish people, Ronnie Bloomberg.
That's where I was introduced to baseball there.
Come on, Ronnie Bloomberg and his bagels.
Yeah. There's a lot of stories from Ray Negron.
You know?
Ray, the Yankees today, and I know you're there, and you're based in Tampa as well. This team, and you've got a general manager, Brian Cashman, that's always on the phone and keeps this team where it's at right now. Little struggles right now. Maybe they may not overtake those Red Sox, as I keep saying, for first place, but the wild card, postseason will be there either way. What makes it so special to be a guy like Brian Cashman? You know him real well. He's your boss.
He's not my boss.
Well,
he may be your boss.
No, he's not my boss.
My boss is Randy Levine and Hank Steinbrenner.
Yeah, he's not my
boss. Get it together, all right?
None of them my bosses.
Never seen him give me a bonus. Come on, man.
Watch right, I'll knock you out here. All right?
Okay,
on my
take
own
it easy.
show.
I don't want to be embarrassed
all right?
on TV.
Anyway, go in the mind of Brian Cashman. You talk to him a lot. You see him more than me. What motivates this man to do what he does?
He loves baseball. He loves baseball. He loves his job. He's got the dream job. I mean, who wouldn't? Wouldn't you want to be the general manager of New York Yankees?
No, because I wouldn't want that pressure.
I would, and I think that would be incredible. But
the pressure to always win.
No, but you know
they're
what?
obsessed with winning. That's all they want to do.
Listen, it becomes an addiction. It becomes an addiction. It's like, listen, somebody once offered me over $1 million to write a Yankee expose. Now, I don't have 1,000,000 pennies in the bank, let alone $1 million. But I wouldn't do that, because if I couldn't walk back into Yankee Stadium and feel the aura of being a part of your organization, it would kill me. I don't care how much money I would have at home.
You'll be a Yankee to the day you die.
Until I die, I will be there.
And that's all eat, drink, sleeps Yankees. It bothers him when the Yankees lose, and if they don't go all the way, especially during the postseason, it bothers him even more. One of the things that's so great about being around Ray Negron is always looking at the championship ring. And if you don't mind, Yang, you could get a nice shot of that ring. What year is the championship
This one is
ring?
96. It's the only one that I wear because of Doc and Daryl.
Okay.
It's because of the aspect of the streets of the Bronx, the streets of Brooklyn, the streets of New York, period. There are so many people that are looking for a second chance.
Doc Gooden, Daryl Strawberry, and you have a long story with that as well.
Right.
Especially with Doc Gooden and all the troubles he's had.
There again, George Steinbrenner, the only one that was willing to take a chance on Doc and Daryl and Steve Howe and other people in recovery. And, you know, he always felt that, you know what, show me a man that doesn't deserve a second chance, and I'll show you an animal.
Does that still exist with the current ownership and regime that's in place since George passed away? Does that care? Is it still there? I don't know if you can comment about that.
I would like to think that if someone had a problem from the standpoint of recovery, addiction, that they would ask me, and they're talented baseball players, that they would ask me to see what I think. And I will give them an honest evaluation. Like I felt, George Steinbrenner relied on me as far as Doc and Daryl, and I told them, hey, I really believe if we give them a chance that they'll help the Yankees. Hey, they won world championships, right?
Yeah.
So I'm proud of this. There was a couple of people there that thought that Steinbrenner was crazy for listening to me. Who is he? You know what I'm saying? But Steinbrenner said, hey, the heck with what they think. What do you think?
Right.
And I was very, very honest. I was always extremely honest with the boss. I can honestly say I never lied to him, ever. You know what I'm saying? Not like this fly that's coming around here. With this thing?
It's the summer in New York. Ray,
come on,
you don't keep it too much longer. Yeah, well, I don't maintain that.
You should get an
guy's
endorsement.
going to get knocked out sooner or later.
I want an endorsement deal from Raid. You know? But I love it.
Ray, before I know you're in a rush. Before I let you go.
Well, we have a game going on right now.
No, it's not right now because we're taped. So when people see this,
so when you see, so that you know that we did have a game going on. But I thought it was important enough to be here for Rich Mancuso,
Thank you, I appreciate
a legendary figure, because this man was on. I used to listen to this man at 3 in the morning when he was on the fan. Was it the fan? Was it?
It was the fan.
The fan, yeah.
Doing wrestling.
He was one of the very first guys on the fan. So at 3 in the morning, instead of doing what I'm supposed to be doing with my lady friend, I'm listening to Rich Mancuso.
Hear that, Big John? Big John? You can interject real quick, Big John.
Yeah.
What an incredible interview this is right now.
Thank you.
You
Thank you.
mentioned the thing at Dermot Munson, it touched my heart. I was like 8, 9 years old.
Big John's a big Yankee fan. You can
I
tell.
can tell you.
Captain Dermot Munson.
Well, he's what? No. And let me just tell you something. You did not call him captain. He did not like for anybody to call him captain. One time, I did it one time. I said, "Hey, Captain, hey, Ray, what's with that captain?" Anyway, I can't say the word. Kids
No, we're on the internet. Say what you want.
But you know, Thurman said that, and I said, "Thurman, I'll never do it again." You know what I'm saying? And Cliff Johnston called him captain, and Thurman said, "Cliff, what's with that captain crap?" And he says, "Okay, captain." I said, "Cliff, what's with that captain crap?" "Captain, what's the matter with you?" And he said, "If you do it again, I'm going to lift your ass up and throw you against the wall." Okay? Sure, Captain. And that was it.
That was it.
Cliff threw a punch. Thurman blocked it, slapped his arm, grabbed him from the crotch and the shoulder, and Cliff was a big guy.
Yes.
And he picked him up like this, and he threw him. Okay, but he didn't throw him against the wall. He threw him to the sofa. And I saw this 6'4" guy flying through the air with the greatest of ease. Okay, and he wasn't going on a flying trapeze. He ended up on the sofa, and he was like this. And I said, "Will you ever call me captain again?" "No, hey, I've had enough." It was all. Fight was over.
Some of the great stories you'll hear from this man, Ray Negron, has been with the New York Yankees for almost 40 years, and now he's out there in the community helping people through the Yankees and himself. That's the type of person he is.
But that was the beauty of the was the beauty of the Yankees, is because They called them the Wild Bunch in those days. These guys today, like somebody asked me, but let me just say this. Somebody asked me, "Hey Ray, what's the difference between Captain Derek Jeter and Captain Thurman Munson?" I said, excuse me, don't go there, all right? Jeter's a beautiful guy, nice guy, but don't try to compare him to a man, because Thurman was a man. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that Jeter's not a man. I'm just saying that in those days, the Bronx was burning.
Yeah,
it was what he called it.
That.
And you know what? Again, a guy who's not afraid to walk into the neighborhood. Let's go get a McDonald's at McDonald's. You think any of the players today would go across the street to McDonald's? You know what I'm saying?
No, it's all different.
No.
It's
And let me tell
different.
you something. And in those days, we had black and Latins at that McDonald's. You think Thurman cared? No. Because today anyway, I'm not even going to get into that because I don't want the players to be mad at me. Okay, because they watch Rich Mancuso, so I'm not even going to go
Well, I
there.
try not to talk to as many as I can. Just get in, get out, and that's it. Because the business has changed on my end as well. Ray, what you got coming up? I know Yankee Miracles, a great book, doing well, still is.
I'm working on a book about Thurman Munson that I'm trying to race the clock because I want it out for next year. Next year is August 2nd of next year is the 40th anniversary of Thurman Munson, so I really want to do that story. I'm working on a play, as you well know. It will be in the Bronx in October at Hostos Community College.
Bronx Tale?
It's called Bat Boy.
Oh, Bat Boy.
Bat
right,
Boy.
Right.
And it's a story of, through the Bat Boy's eyes, you see the Yankees of the 1970s, the world champions of the 1970s, and how it was, and Billy Martin, and George Steinbrenner, and Reggie, and Thurman, and Mercer.
Real quick, Billy Martin, I forgot to bring that up. There's another, what you would say,
a man,
a character, and a man.
He loved to
and
drink.
George and all
He loved
that.
the sauce.
Oh, I know he loved to drink.
He loved the women.
I had a few with him years ago
You know,
at the bar on the road.
and again, another guy that was not afraid to go into the neighborhood. He had a girlfriend that lived on Walton, okay? He had a girlfriend on Walton, and if he didn't pick her up, I had to go pick her up. But it was okay. She was a beautiful Puerto Rican girl. Okay, and then he had another one about 2 blocks from there. I think she was a Greek girl. I think he ended up marrying her.
I don't know.
You know what I'm
I didn't
saying?
know his personal life.
Okay.
We didn't get into
But
that.
Billy was.
But he was
beautiful.
And I knew a great
beautiful.
manager too.
No, hey, the best.
You know, even though
There
that's
was
why
not
George
a better
went back.
manager.
Was it George and Billy back and forth? Was that all
5
theater
times.
or was that realistic?
No, it was real. Hey, and let me say this. Every time that Billy got fired, he deserved to be fired. But every time that he brought him back is because he needed him. George
And he
needed him.
really liked him. He loved him.
No, he loved him.
Yeah.
He loved him, which is why he kept bringing him back.
Yeah.
Because he always hoped that this was the guy. Hey, listen, every time he got fired, 92 wins, 93 wins. Look at the record. You know what I'm saying? Remember, in those days, they didn't have a wild card. He would have been a wild card every year. But 92, 93 wins, and you're getting fired?
It really was.
It shows you how things work.
So you're working on the book.
I'm working on the play.
Published often on Newsmax, NewYorkSportsDay.com, the Bronx Chronicle, ESPN, and you got the great radio show on the weekends, ESPN.
We're number one on ESPN.
So you can be heard on the weekends at different times.
If you don't speak Spanish, don't listen.
But you're also part of my show, which I appreciate it. With a little gnat flying around the studio.
Yeah.
You might be a Yankee fan, that's why. You know,
well,
Ray Negron, this has been great. My
Richard
buddy
Mancuso,
Ray,
thank you.
My buddy
I'll
Ray.
do your show
always,
anytime. Okay.
My buddy.
Hey, what are you doing, man? Unbelievable! What an animal.
One day, I'm to meet you in the ring.
We'll do it.
Where I will keep it in the ring.
We will do it
with you.
We will do it.
He's Ray Negron, New York Yankees.
And he's Rich Mancuso. A legend, a true sport, a New York guy, a guy that's done it, unbelievable.
You're more a legend than me.
One of the very first guys on The Fan, right there, Rich Mancuso.
I was, and
Rich
I did
Mancuso
wrestling at 3
for The
a.m.
Fan.
and I still do it here. It's Sports with Rich, all bases covered.
with
Rich
Rich.
Mancuso. Thank you, Ray Negron.
Thank you, Rich Mancuso.
More to come. Back after this. Hey, you need a good haircut? I always do. Can't you tell, fans? Look at this. Maybe I just need a little shape up. Well, I go to my favorite place, Razor Sharp in the Bronx, and it is Razor Sharp. Let's go talk to Rob. Let's take a look at the sports environment in there. You're going to like what you see. All right, Rob, besides me having the top internet talk show right now, and as a good top columnist in the city of New York, as you know, because you're a good supporter of mine, what makes this top barbershops in the Bronx, if not New York?
It's just sports, a lot of talking, just a place to hang out. It's it's like a man cave, you know what I mean?
What makes it Razor Sharp, like the name?
Just the top, it ain't sharp until you razor sharp, that's it.
If Aaron Judge walked in here right now,
So I give him what he wants.
easier than cutting me or harder? You're hungry, morning, day or night? This is the place to go. Ashra Mini Market in the Pelham Bay section of the Bronx. Now, fresh delicacies, and they'll fix it the way you want it. Plus, there's a market in there too. You can do your shopping at the same time. The best thing is convenient, right off the number 6 line here in the Bronx Middletown Station. I've been there. I've been there more than once. And look, it does help Rich Mancuso put on a few pounds. Ashra Mini Market. Come in and see what it's about. How many years you been doing this, Rick?
I've been doing this now 20 years.
You have daily special?
My daily specials are usually like the Philly cheesesteaks, which we do with London broil.
I've had that.
Yeah, we don't do them with steak, and we do them with London broil. Our turkey Phillies, also done with boar's head oven gold turkey.
Ashra Mini Market Deli, and where the fresh delicacies come out, where fresh cooking is done every day, morning, afternoon, and evening. They're open, and you get a good meal at a great price.
You are listening to the All Bases Covered radio show, Sports Talk, with Rich Mancuso. Call in, Let's Sports Talk, 914-505-7701.
Back with more Sports with Rich, all bases covered from the Baseball Training Institute in the Bronx. Reach them at baseballtraininginstitute.com. Reach me, Rich Mancuso, and all of us at All Bases Covered. Of course, on our Facebook page, All Bases Covered Sports with Rich. Click the like button and keep in touch with us as we go on a hiatus for the summer. And back in mid-September, we will have a live program, your phone calls, more interaction online, answer your questions as we're on the air. Brandon Colon back with me.
Yes.
And that was great with Ray Negron, wasn't it?
It was amazing. Obviously, hearing all that Yankee history and all the things he's been through and seen with George Steinbrenner and all the things he's done, it was amazing to sit there and listen to you guys.
Ray is a baseball encyclopedia as well. Not only Yankees, but he knows the game, the history. And again, his book, Yankee Miracles, explains his whole life story, and it was way before your time, but I remember when George Steinbrenner rescued this guy for graffitiing the old Yankee Stadium, the outfield wall outside where there was a bleacher area, wanted to get him arrested. They wanted to arrest him, but George came to his rescue, and from there on, Ray Negron became a successful executive with the New York Yankees and a community activist, and helped so many young people. That's why I stressed that when he was here with us earlier.
Definitely.
It was great.
When you introduced me to him, like about a year ago, maybe, I looked into his story, and he spoke to his story about the graffiti and George Steinbrenner, and then when I spoke to him, he was doing a story about him visiting Marjorie Stone Douglas High School out in Florida, obviously after the tragedy, and he was out there showing his support and helping them, and that's just the kind of guy
Right, you wrote a great piece on that for New York Sports Day and the Bronx Chronicle, and it was a great piece. Brandon, not only have you become a great help here, helping out with the show, but you're a magnificent writer. You got a great future ahead of you.
Thank you.
And when I'm well gone, you'll be taking over this business like all you young millennials.
Nah, you're not
right
going
now.
nowhere, Rich.
I don't know. Another year, Arizona desert snakes, all that. That's what I want. Hey, Brandon, your thoughts. Are you in this baseball rumorville world like all fans are?
I am, but I try and stick with the ones that seem more plausible and more that can happen. I knew Bryce Harper wasn't coming in New York, and at least not right now as far as the trade goes. But I try and stay with the ones that make a little bit more sense. I obviously, I fall into fantasy world every once in a while.
I know.
But I try and stick with the ones that make a little bit more sense, and I knew the Bryce Harper one wasn't going to.
Do you feel the Yankees, be objective now, do you feel the Yankees will catch the Red Sox? I don't.
I don't think they will as far as the American League East goes, unless the Red Sox have some type of slump somewhere, and this baseball things happen, but losing Aaron Judge and Gary Sanchez, who was struggling.
Hey, injuries are part of the game. You can't feel sorry for anyone. It happens. It's a part of a long baseball
Exactly.
season. Look what's happened to the Mets the last few years, one after another.
Exactly.
And I blame that on Paul O'Neill. I tell Paul when I see him at Yankee Stadium all the time, Paul, you're the reason for the Mets X. He laughs at me. He looks at me and he laughs. He says, why? Because in 2000, when the Yankees won the World Series at the old Shea Stadium, he sprayed champagne in right field.
Oh, man.
And that did it. Even though the Mets went on to the postseason a few more times, but the injuries, it caught up to them because of Paul O'Neill. That's why. Good broadcaster on the Yes Network with Michael Kay and all of them. But as far as that, he was a Yankee. He did the Mets in. That's what he did. Champagne in right field.
Always bitter than somebody else.
All right. We'll have the fact of the week in a moment.
Okay.
I'm gonna have a nice a young man also plays college ball in Ohio. He'll be here. We'll talk to him a little bit. In the meantime, you ready for Big John?
Oh, man, I think he's gonna excel out there.
All right. Big John is in the back, in the cages. It's time to learn the art of bunting. And we're gonna go to John right now and see how he does.
Thank you, Rich. This is Big John, again, doing a segment from the All Bases Covered Sports Radio Show, here live at the Baseball Training Institute here in the Bronx. And I am going to do the art of bunting. Now, I never really did this before, and I'm going to learn from my friends, Steve Morrell and Carlos. It's Carlos?
Carlos Espinoza.
Carlos Espinoza. Okay. And I'm going to give it a try here. Now, I did this before. I batted. I fielded with Tony Melendez, right? I did some fielding and batting, and now I'm going to do the art of bunting. So, gentlemen, when we're ready.
I'm just having a picture.
All right. Now, people think this is really easy, but it really isn't.
All right. We're going to focus on the lost art of bunting.
Yeah, and I'm definitely the lost art.
All right. You're going to work on sacrificing bunting today.
Okay.
What the purpose of this, you're going to move the runner over. But you want to show the bunt early.
Okay.
The purpose of that is for Carlos, the infielder, to tell you, is to crash the corners in. When you want to show is when the pitcher lifts up, he's initiating his pitching movement. So when he picks up, that's when you square up with bunt. And depending on the league unit, they'll be like, bunt, they'll scream.
Okay.
So you want your fingers behind the barrel so you won't break them. So you want to hold it like this. This hand will support the barrel.
Okay.
This hand will manipulate the barrel.
Okay.
This will open and close. Here you get, if you move your hands up, you have more control of the bat.
Oh, okay, we'll do that.
Okay. So you want your squares, your hips square to the pitcher. So by that, you want to pivot this back foot. There we go.
Okay, I'm going to crouch
Your
down.
eyes, you see how the barrel's behind your eyes?
Yeah.
You can't hit what your eyes can't see. So you want your hand up here.
All right.
So now the trick is, you want to catch the ball. You want to
Okay.
deaden it. You don't want to hit it. You want to deaden it.
You want to deaden it.
So when
Okay.
the pitcher really picks up, that's when you show. So
Okay, let's
start
try
up
it.
here again. Start up here, both hands together.
Oh, okay, they don't know.
And then when he picks up, you square.
Okay, let's do
All
that.
right? Ready?
Okay.
Now what you want to do is when I lift my leg up, you want to make sure you're already in that position.
Right. I just fouled it back. So if I do it again, I'm out, ladies and gentlemen. Because 2 strikes, you're done bunting with
And
it.
make sure that barrel's out in front of your eyes and in fair territory.
Okay.
So you're out here like this.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah.
So back up. And you're going to square when you pick up. Now.
That's a double play, what I just did, and that was bad.
Okay. One more time. Square.
I might make that. All right. That's a hit. Okay.
Square up. Square up.
Oh, yeah, here we go. I'm sorry. Okay. It's foul into the bucket. Okay. One more.
Yeah, it's how you set up. Start set it up.
Okay.
Short. Shoulder bump. There you go. There we go. There we go. Power pretty high. Left. Do another.
One more? Okay. Knees giving out a little. Okay.
Show it. Good.
Okay. All right, that's it for the segment for the art of bunting. Back to Sports with Rich, all bases covered. After these commercial messages, from Asia Mini Market in the Bronx, where you get your great deli sandwich, and Rob from Razor Shop, barbers and shaving, yes, whatever they do. You're not sharp unless you're razor sharp.
Hey, you need a good haircut? I always do. Can't you tell, fans? Look at this. Nah, maybe I just need a little shape up. Well, I go to my favorite place, Razor Sharp in the Bronx, and it is razor sharp. Let's go talk to Rob. Let's take a look at the sports environment in there. You're going to like what you see. All right, Rob, besides me having the top internet talk show right now, and as a good top columnist in the city of New York, as you know, because you're a good supporter of mine, what makes this top barbershops in the Bronx, if not New York?
It's just sports, a lot of talking, just a place to hang out. It's it's like a man cave, you know what I mean?
What makes it razor sharp, like the name?
Just the top, it ain't sharp until you razor sharp, that's it.
If Aaron Judge walked in here right now,
So I give him what he wants.
easier than cutting me or harder? You're hungry, morning, day or night? This is the place to go. Ashra Mini Market in the Pelham Bay section of the Bronx. Now, fresh delicacies, and they'll fix it the way you want it. Plus, there's a market in there too. You can do your shopping at the same time. The best thing is convenient, right off the number 6 line here in the Bronx Middletown Station. I've been there. I've been there more than once. And look, it does help Rich Mancuso put on a few pounds. Ashra Mini Market. Come in and see what it's about. How many years you been doing this, Rick?
I've been doing this now 20 years.
You have daily special?
My daily specials are usually like the Philly cheesesteaks, which we do with London broil.
I've had that.
Yeah, we don't do them with steak, and we're doing with London broil. Our turkey Phillies, also done with boar's head oven gold turkey.
Ashra Mini Market Deli, and where the fresh delicacies come out, where fresh cooking is done every day, morning, afternoon, and evening. They're open, and you get a good meal at a great price.
You're listening to the All Bases Covered radio show, Sports Talk, with Rich Mancuso. Call in, Let's Sports Talk, 914-505-7701.
Sports with Rich, all bases covered. Back with you from the Baseball Training Institute in the Bronx studio, Rich Mancuso. Hey, Big John.
Hey, Rich.
That was pretty good bunting technique. You
Yeah.
screwed up a few times, though.
I got to work on it. It's not as easy as it
But
looks.
you know what? The art of bunting, which baseball doesn't see no more. Only see it. What did you learn from the guys?
I learned basically the fundamentals on how to do it. You're going to bat like this. The pitcher doesn't know third baseman or first baseman. You're going to drop it down. When the pitcher lifts his foot,
Not easy.
you drop it down and you try to, I try to go down third. I fouled it off a couple times.
Yeah.
But then I achieved what I had to do.
You did all right, though. I give you a B. And I'm being fair.
Thank you. It's like a
All
tough
right.
professor. I thought you were going to give me a
And
D
John and
because you're
Liz,
always giving me and Brandon.
You've learned a lot. Bunting today.
Yeah.
What else did you do?
I did the fundamentals
Fielding.
with Tony Melendez. Actually had a field as an infielder.
Yeah, you learned. You did
And
good.
the batting was the first segment.
So you're ready for a comeback, right?
Yeah, you said when we go live, which I'm a little nervous, I'm going to pitch.
Yeah. That's in September. When
I'm
we
a little
come back
nervous
live.
about that, but I'll try.
All right, John, back with you in a moment because we're going to try and get the fact of the week. With me right now in the studio was a young man that, with Steve, who's a trainer here at the Baseball Training Institute, but this is a college student that came along to visit and just recently got involved here at the Baseball Training Institute because of me. We found each other on Instagram. He's a fine young man. Carlos Espinoza plays college ball at Mansfield University. Where is it?
It's in Pennsylvania, in Mansfield.
Yeah. And Carlos helped John out. How did you grade him?
Well, honestly, 8 for effort. A for effort, but bunting is an art. Of
Do you
course.
bunt?
I bunt a lot as a speed runner. I love running. I
Yeah,
love
and
running,
you're
so
a
I
little
got
guy
my-
like Jose Altuve.
Exactly.
so-
I'm pretty sure he bunts. So I,
Right away off the bat, Yankee
the-
shirt. There you go, another one.
Oh,
Okay, I'm surrounded by it.
1, 2.
Yeah,
3.
too many. Would you wear my Met
Oh
Rally
no,
cap?
no, not on live TV.
No,
No,
you want to, but
doing
not
that.
live, by the way.
Oh,
But interesting, Carlos. Mansfield University, Division II. What is
it's
it?
it's D2 NCAA.
Where'd you go to high school?
I went to Iona Prep.
Iona Prep,
Yes.
which is local.
Right
And at the Baseball Training Institute, there's a lot of youngsters that go to Iona Prep and become a part of the institute here and playing right now over the summer with Hanks Yanks. And where do you see yourself with baseball? You're a little guy like what's your height?
I'm 5'5", which
Jose Altuve.
Altuve, yeah. Basically.
So it's tougher, isn't it? Is it a little tougher to get involved?
Well, it's a lot tougher, but it comes with a lot of work ethic. It's very important.
How aggressive of you are you right now in your pursuit to go far in this game? And it's not easy.
Very aggressive. Well, I wake up in the morning, go to the gym. All I can think about in the gym is baseball, of course, because all I do in the gym is just work on things to improve in baseball. And then after I go to work out, after 3 hours, I go practice or I have a game. So it's always a daily, consistent basis.
And the mentality as well,
Yeah,
mental.
Yeah, it's always mental. Always
You work out every day?
every day. Every
What do
day.
you do? Is strength and conditioning a big part of it?
Well, conditioning is a big part, especially if you're a speed guy. So, and I just started incorporating strength into my routine since I'm a little guy, of course, and I need to start improving in my strength so I can compete with the other
How are
people.
you spending your summer now before you go back to school in mid-August? How are you spending it?
The same thing I'm doing, practicing,
And
playing
you're
everywhere.
playing as
yeah,
well.
I'm playing in two
What
teams.
position you play?
I play middle infielder, shortstop.
Yeah, you would do. And how do you like manning the infield? That's a big spot in the infield.
I love it. I love it. Usually when I play shortstop, I talk to the outfielders. I talk to the infielders. Shortstop is basically
You're like
lead
the
position
captain
of-
out there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I love coordinating with the players, where to move, position themselves. It's a big role.
What happens when you make an error, especially on a double play ball?
Oof, obviously it's a bad feeling.
How
of
do you
course,
come
but
back from that adversity of making an error? Let me ask you that.
You don't think of it. You just go on with the flow.
Mhm.
You keep going. Make an error. You think of what you did wrong, and then you want to improve of what you did wrong.
Our Carlos says Carlos Espinoza replaced with Mansfield University in Pennsylvania.
Yes.
When do you go back to school?
Well, we have our first meeting August 26th, and so I'm assuming I'm gonna go back around mid-August, like the 15th.
Fall ball
14th.
season?
Yeah.
Unbelievable
Fall.
how time is passing on.
I
What
know.
year are you in?
Well, I'm going to be a sophomore. in
Okay,
baseball, yes.
so you have some time left.
Yes, I have 3 years.
If there's
It's
one
a
thing
lot.
you learned this past year,
Mhm.
and you're going into your next year, what did you learn?
Patience, a lot of patience. Because daily you're thinking where I'm gonna be at tomorrow, and you don't know. You never know. So you just gotta be patient about it and just keep working hard.
And you keep working hard and you prepare. It's a lot of mental part of it, as baseball is.
Mm-hmm.
And you're getting ready for another season. And where do you see yourself in this game, maybe within 5 years?
5 years, hopefully a little less, but hopefully I can take my talent and play professionally. But
And you're of Dominican descent?
yes,
Which
Full Dominican.
baseball is predominantly Latinos
yes.
dominate the game. A lot of Dominican Republic greats. Who did you admire growing up as a young ball player? As a
Oof.
Dominican? Who did you admire? Any ball player, in fact.
I know he loved the Yankees, but Robinson Cano. Mostly because he was smoothest player I know. So I love being smooth on the
On
field.
suspension now, but we'll be back.
Well, yeah, but besides suspension, but the game is the game. If you're smooth, you're smooth. If you're strong, you're strong. But I just love the smooth aspect of Cano.
All right, Carlos, let me test your knowledge with the rest of the crew. We have a fact of the week here every week, okay? And I try and get the most craziest question with the most weirdest answer.
Okay.
And this one this week is, as we wrap up our season and we come back here in mid-September. And the question, guys, we're going to give it out now. And Brandon's here, Big John's in the locker room. Here we go. And let's see if you get it. One of the core 4 Yankees of those championship years, of course, was Jorge Posada. You know that as a Yankee fan, but
Yes.
did you know this about Posada? He did something in those years, at least a couple of them, that during the season, to tighten his grip on his bat, before he got every at bat, he did something and he did something, give you a hint, to his hands. What did he do?
With his hands to grip the bat?
Yeah. It's weird what he did, to give you a hint. Guys, your chance right now to give me the answer if you didn't Google it already.
Obviously, pine tar is not weird. So
No, it
I
wasn't
wouldn't know.
pine tar.
Of course not. But
Okay, so you
to
don't
me,
know.
Of course I wouldn't know.
Okay. All right. Yang behind the camera, my great producer, who does a great job every week, camera, producing, everything else. Got an answer?
He crushed sunflower seeds with his hands.
No, but they spit them out enough. Do you do sunflower seeds?
I love sunflower.
Yeah, but you don't just chew the tobacco no more.
Oh, no.
You don't do that, what they call, dip?
Dip? Oh,
No, that's no good for
That's
you.
disgusting.
It's as bad as smoking. Brandon Colon, my great co-host, will be here again in a little while to wrap it all up. Brandon, do you have an answer? What did Posada do?
I'm just gonna say spit, Rich. I can't think of anything.
We
else.
all
I'm just gonna
spit. Do
say
you spit?
I spit on my bangles all the time.
Why do you spit?
I don't know. It's a tradition.
Don't spit in the studio. No, I've seen you spit in front of me before. Big John, you want to take a crack at it?
Okay, it's something bizarre Posada did with the bat. I think chewing tobacco.
No, to his hands.
Chewing gum on
He
his
did
buttons.
something. He did something to his hands before he got the bat in his hand.
I was going to say take chewing tobacco, put it on his hands, and put it on the bat.
No.
Chewing
Right?
Okay.
Let me give the answer.
No,
You
no,
ready,
hint. I
guys?
want to hear a hint. I want a hint. I want a hint.
I can't. The hint is there. It's weird.
Go.
It's bizarre, so
All right?
Okay.
He peed on his hands.
Huh?
Jorge Posada used to piss on his hands before gripping a bat. He said it helped him swing better and hold the bat better. That's a true fact. It came straight from him.
Was that every at bat?
Every at bat. He did that for 2 straight years. So did Moises Alou. Remember him?
Yeah.
And Kerry Wood. Remember Kerry
I
Wood?
remember Kerry Wood.
Yeah, that's what they did.
That's
Pissed
about
on his
water.
hands. You don't do that.
Oh, no.
And never do.
I might.
Just continue doing well at Mansfield. Good luck to you. Thanks for helping Big John with the bunting.
Of course.
All right. That's Carlos Espinoza, Mansfield University. Great to have him help Big John out this week. And good to see you, my friend. And have
Thank
a
you,
good,
Rich. It was a pleasure.
successful season as you go back to school in a few weeks, okay?
Thank you.
We'll come back and wrap it all up. Sports with Rich, all bases covered here for the Baseball Training Institute studio in the Bronx. After this, from our great sponsors. Okay, thank you.
You're listening to the All Bases Covered radio show, Sports Talk, with Rich Mancuso. Call in, let's Sports Talk, 914-505-7701.
See, I don't know what Yang is so enthused about. Maybe because it's our last show and he could enjoy the rest of the summer before we come back, Brandon, live in mid-September.
I think Yanks had a great time, so I think he's just excited about that we're all here together again, and we're just having fun talking sports.
Well, it's been great. We've had a great 4 or 5 weeks with you out there, and again, and by the way, fact of the week was weird, wasn't it?
I wasn't expecting that. I was thinking, spit or something, maybe gum or chewing tobacco on the hands or something like John's, but pee, I wasn't expecting that.
Always count on Rich Mancuso, Big John, to come up with the weirdest facts of the week.
That's why he batted 320, so now we know deep down he
peed on his hands.
On the bat.
He peed on his hand. Hey, Brandon, before we say goodbye and come back in mid-September live, by the way, and we will start taking your phone calls then and interact with you online as the program is on for 2 hours. We're looking at a mid-September launch for the live program, Sports with Rich, All Bases Covered, and we will let you know. Just stay with us on the Facebook page, All Bases Covered, Sports with Rich. The Yankees appear to be in some type of trouble because Luis Severino has had a bad 4 starts, last 4. And I'm also looking at the New York Yankees, still going to have that spot in the postseason come October. But I don't think they're overtaking the Red Sox. It's looking thinner and thinner for them, slimmer and slimmer. Though there's still a lot more to go.
Although I'm a Yankee fan, I would have to agree with you. I don't think they will be able to, as far as things keep going the way they have, I don't think they will be able to overtake the Red Sox. But I do think the teams like the Mariners and the A's will slow down as hot as they've been, especially the A's. I think they will slow down. So I don't think the Yankees are in jeopardy, like you said, of losing a playoff spot. But they probably will have to settle for that wild card game.
And pitching's the game. They don't seem to be getting that as of late. Without Aaron Judge in the lineup. And when we come back in September, he should be back along with Gary Sanchez. Perhaps that will boost their potency in their offensive attack with the home run ball, which they're great at doing. They were setting a record pace with that. But all of baseball will be ready for the stretch run down the pennant races. And when we come back with you mid-September, live on the air, All Bases Covered Sports with Rich, Brandon, Big John, we will know more where the postseason for baseball goes in 2018. The stretch run in baseball in September is always good. I think the division to look at again is the National League West. That's tight. 3 or 4 teams have a shot. I think more 3 than 4. I don't think the Giants, and keep looking at the Oakland A's and that American League West. Not win the division, but maybe become that second wild card. Surprise of baseball this year.
They've been on fire, and then Chris Davis, or Crush Davis, as he's known out there,
He's hitting home runs.
Ridiculous. 2 back-to-back
And they're drawing
games.
big crowds in Oakland too.
They're doing great out there.
And the Phillies and the Braves, 2 teams we thought would be good, but not this good. We thought the Naturals would run away with the NL East. That's not happening.
That NL wildcard race is going to be very interesting with, like you said, the Phillies or the Braves, the Brewers, or whoever's coming out of the NL West. It's going to be very fun to watch.
And the Cubs just reinforced their pitching with Cole Hamels.
Yeah.
That's another big pickup. So look at the Cubs and the Dodgers with Manny Machado in the NL West. That's why they could be favored to win division and go far. Well, anyway, Brandon, I want to thank you tremendously. You've made it so much easier for me. Your NFL and NBA reports have been on the money, on target. Our fans have loved it, viewing out there. And you just a wealth of knowledge with those 2 sports. And not that I don't know anything about it.
Well, of course,
but with baseball season and the boxing, I don't, I'm not really in sync with it as much as you are. And I'll tell you, my friend, I look forward to working with you more in the months to come as we resume in the fall in September. And you have a great future ahead. You're going to go beyond Rich Mancuso soon.
I appreciate that, Rich, but it's going to take me a little while to go beyond Rich Mancuso. You need to give yourself some credit. You've helped me a lot. You've helped us all here a lot, and I appreciate you bringing me in here to co-host with you. And I've had a great time with these guys here.
It's been fun, but you'll be back. We're not going away. We're not going away. Remember, Big John, you too. John, as we get back to you and say goodbye for the summer, what are you going to do the rest of the summer? Walk and look for planets in the sky? Or are you going to hit the roulette wheel at Empire City in Yonkers, a potential sponsor here on the show, by the way?
Maybe both, ride my bike a little bit and, maybe do a little gambling, but I didn't want to. Rich, I want to say something about the Yankees. As we go into the beginning of August, the crunch, what I call crunch time, this is big. Yankees and Red Sox, I believe at Fenway Park, 3-game series. So if they can go in there 2.5 or 3.5, good.
Well, they got J.A. Happ, who knows how to pitch against the Red Sox, so they have a chance, and they've set it up that way to do that.
Wouldn't that be interesting? Nathan Eovaldi just acquired the Red Sox versus J.A. Happ.
He's my comeback player of the year in the American League right now.
Oh, he is. When he was with the Yankees, he did nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing against him, but now he's great.
Yeah. So, John, thank you, my friend. It's been. I know I tease you. Everyone knows that. But when it comes down to it, you're all sports.
No,
and most of all,
and it's great being part of the program.
You're a great guy. You're a sport, in other words.
Thank you so much.
But when we come back in mid-September, John, please, no Yankee hat, no Yankee gear. Same with you, Brandon.
No
because then I'm going to have to change some things around here in the studio. You know that?
You mean what, getting your own Yankee hat? Is that what you mean, is change things?
Well, there's been talk about me converting, but I'll never give up on my Mets. Big John, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Dinner's on me, as you've done for me as well. I can't tell you how much I enjoy being around this
I'm
guy.
hungry. I'm going to get out of the locker room now.
Change your cleats. And Yang behind the camera, we're coming back for more, right? Right? In mid-September live, and without you, this show don't work. Yang, we got to give you a round of applause. That's Yang here behind the camera. You don't see him much, but he's the one to make sure that we're heard right, we're seen right, and he does all the editing. And he's done a lot of that in the last 4 shows, the last 4 weeks. But when we go live, he's going to have more work to do, Brandon, because doing a live show, there's no room for takes. Take 1, take 2, take 3, whatever. It's all done. You know?
He can handle it, and I believe we can.
All right. And, of course, a big thank you to our sponsors. And we hope they continue with us with some more. And that being
Extra Mini Market in Delhi, and razor sharp. You're not sharp until you're razor sharp.
And
I love
want-
that
and,
slogan there.
Yeah. Big Rob. Rob gave me my haircut again, and I want to thank Rob for being such a great supporter of this program and a fan, supporter of Rich Mancuso over the years, and of course to all the great guys at the Extra Mini Market in Delhi in the Bronx. They keep us full. Instead of being hungry. And I'm no kidding. They got some great sandwiches. If you're ever in the area in the Bronx, go visit them. And your shopping needs as well. All right?
Definitely.
So, Brandon, this is it, my friend. Enjoy the rest of the summer.
You as well. Enjoy the stadiums, especially Yankee Stadium.
Oh, yeah, baseball season winding down. Then I go on my vacation. But you know what, Brandon? We when you come back, we're going to be ready for the NFL. We'll be able to give out picks every week.
Yes, I can't wait for that.
And Steve, come on in here, Steve. Before we say goodbye, I want to bring this young man in here. I've gotten to really, can we get him on set before we say goodbye? Come over here. Steve, what's your last name again? Morel. And this is another aspiring ball player on his way, going back to college soon, mid-August. Been a great help to us here at the program and from the Baseball Training Institute. Really enjoying his time with the kids. And you know what? You've taught John well. Big John learned how to bunt this week. And when do you see bunting in baseball?
It's lost.
You know? So.
If he makes the majors, he taught me how to bunt. He taught me how to hit. I got to get this.
Yeah, you did.
I gotta get me 10 to
John,
get-
you got 5 weeks to get it straight, all right?
Yeah.
All right.
Media reporting.
All right, guys. That's it. We're going away for the summer.
Yes.
You going anywhere?
No, I already took my trip to Florida, so
All
I
right.
guess it'll just
All
be
right.
here in New York. Maybe get some Yankee games.
All right, Brandon. I'd love to have you in the press box with me.
Let's
There's
do
always
it.
a seat for you there near me, my friend.
Sounds great.
All right. Thank you all for being a part. Sports with Rich, all bases covered from the Baseball Training Institute studio in the Bronx. Don't forget Facebook, the page, like the page, stay in touch. Also on Instagram with me and Twitter and Facebook as well. And anywhere else you find me on the internet, social media. That's all I do, 24/7. I don't want to, but I have to. Also at NewYorkSportsDay.com, BronxChronicle.com, LatinoSports.com, and wherever else you'll find Rich Mancuso. Thanks for your support, everyone, and we'll see you back here live mid-September. Watch for the launch date. Live phone calls, interaction, social media. And as always, as I say, keep it in the ring. Enjoy the summer, everyone, and thank you.
You are listening to the All Bases Covered radio show, Sports Talk, with Rich Mancuso. Call in. Let's Sports Talk. 914-505-7701.